This video today is for a recipe that Mike describes as perfect. I came across it in the same little Epicurean magazine as a stone fruit cake, and it immediately caught my eye. And they're little discs that I would describe as a cross between a pavlova and a macaron. They're flavoured with hazelnut meal, and hazelnut meal lends itself to a lot of different fruit. Today I'm pairing it with mango because we're so lucky to have a beautiful mango tree, and some raspberries, but you could use any sort of fruit. It's really delicious, and Mike has asked me to make a video on this because I suspect he wants to eat them again, and this is how I do it. Because this doesn't take too long to make, preheat your oven now to 170 degrees Celsius conventional without a fan, or 155 degrees Celsius with a fan. And I use a fan for this one if you've got one, because you can then bake 2 trays at once. And if you don't, doesn't matter, you just have to cook 1 tray at once. Now you'll need 5 room temperature egg whites. So into a bowl, crack them. Now you'll also need to measure 10 tablespoons of caster sugar, which I weighed at 150 grams. And what I do now is I'm going to beat these egg whites with an electric mixer until they sort of start to foam up, and you'll see that they'll rise, only about a minute or so, and then I'll start gradually adding the caster sugar. So actually when it's like that, now start adding the caster sugar. And the recipe says 2 tablespoons at a time. And with each addition of caster sugar, I always try to imagine in my mind the sugar dissolving in the egg whites. And when the mixture is glossy and thick like that, that's enough. And you know, seriously, I think that took less than 4 minutes. So then with a spatula, fold in 150 grams of hazelnut meal. Now I just buy this from Coles. And if you can't get hazelnut meal, just get some hazelnuts and grind them up in a food processor or a high-speed blender. If there's any lumps in it, just sort of get them out. Sometimes it can be lumpy. And I suppose you could use almond meal if you didn't like hazelnuts. I've never tried it, but it's the same sort of texture. And then 1 teaspoon of vinegar, and it says a dash of vanilla extract. So a dash to me is about ½ teaspoon. And that's all there is in them. So just fold that together. So on a big tray lined with baking paper, just take a spoon and put mounds on the baking paper and just spread it out slightly. They don't spread too much. Now we like them a bit thicker because they're crispy on the outside and then sort of like soft in the middle. They're really good. So I usually put about 6 on a tray. And you know what's wonderful about these? These are naturally gluten-free. I make these slightly thicker than the recipe says. So these take between 20 to 30 minutes. I think they took me about 25 minutes last time, but you want them quite dry and like a beigey browny colour. 1 tray on the top and 1 tray on the bottom. And I'll set my timer for 10 minutes, and then I'll swap the trays around just to ensure an even bake. And in the meantime, any other mixture, I just get ready for the next lot. Well, the recipe says it makes 18, and I've made them thicker and a bit bigger. Looks like I'm going to get 15. An even number would be good because they're a sandwich. Oh well, 1's a taste tester. Now for the filling. The recipe calls for a 250 gram container of mascarpone cheese, and it also called for like 2 egg whites, but I don't put them in. I don't like raw egg whites. So instead I add about 1/3 cup of cream, which is about 80 mils. and 2 tablespoons of caster sugar. And I just beat that until it's thick. And that just takes a few seconds. And that's how you want it, nice and thick. My mother-in-law sent me these things and I thought they were hair nets, but they're not actually. I thought she was telling me something. They're to cover bowls or plates. So I'll just put that in the fridge and keep it cool. Now these are ready and they only took 19 minutes this batch, so just keep an eye on them around the 16 to 17 minute mark. And take a spatula and carefully slide them underneath or with a palette knife and put them on a rack to dry out completely. They'll be fragile at this stage, but then they'll firm up. And you want them to cool completely before you put anything in the middle of them. No onion smell. And you know, think bananas or raspberries or strawberries or apples even, but I would cook the apples down a bit. Any sort of fruit that goes with hazelnut will go well with these. Look at the size of these mangoes, they're from our tree, they're amazing. Now the recipe had these cut in chunks, but we much prefer them sliced thinly, and it's much easier to eat them, but also it's just really delicious thin slices of fruit with the mascarpone and the hazelnut biscuits, well, meringues sort of. And I've also got a few raspberries that I've washed that can go in the other ones. Now I'll just wait till they completely cool down, then I'll fill them up. I just want to show you this just in case you let these go cold without taking them off the paper while they're warm. They still come off easy. No problem. A company called Ainsley kindly gifted me this beautiful fine bone china, and they've provided a 30% off discount, and I'll put that link in the video description in case you want to check it out. Some fruit, another biscuit, and a sprinkling of icing sugar. And you can pick it up and eat it like a sandwich or eat it with a spoon. I think I'm going to have to double this recipe next time. And if you have a single one left over, that's the cook's treat. What are they like though?
They're pretty bloody damn good.
Don't sweat.
They're really good. Well worth it. Not good,
No.
trying my best.
Mike, they're pretty good, aren't they, love?
They're very good. They're very, very, very good. They could be my new favorites.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you again soon.